Hey LinkedIn, something I want to cover was naming things out. When you're looking at getting anything done, the more you can name something out, the more you can define that thing, the more likely it is to happen. And so this comes up in sales and in anything, in any trying to get any target done, any goal accomplished. People struggle, I think, with vagueness. They'll say some vague thing, and it's not fully defined, it's not fully clarified, it's not fully named. And in sales specifically, if you're saying, "Oh, I'm trying to get this deal done," or anything that's general and vague, the chances of it happening are not good. You have to drill it down and really name out the cycle. Like, what are you going to do? Who's connected to it? What do you need to do? What is the exact action? The more you can define the exact playbook or the exact action or the exact thing that you're going to do, the more you can name it, define it, the more likely it is to happen. Then you can just execute against it and get it done. It's the same thing. If somebody says, you look at working out, or I'm going to start working out this year, that it's too general, too vague. The chances or the probability of you doing it are slim to none. It's probably not going to happen. However, if you say, I'm going to get in shape this year, and here's my program, and here's my weekly thing, and my daily thing, and here's my diet regimen, and it's clearly named out. Like, I'm going to run tonight. I'm going to, at this such and such time, I'm going to run 4 miles. Here's my stuff, and you have it all named out. Everything's clearly defined. The chances of you doing it dramatically increase. It's the same thing in anything you're trying to do. If you go, we're going to build a company, compared to saying, we'll build a company and to this level, and here's how we're going to do it. It's clearly defined, clearly named out, the more likely it is to happen. It's the same in sales. When you name it out, when you name something clearly and say, I'm going to do this deal, this dollar figure with this person, and these are the actions that are going to get it done, the more you can name that out, the more all you have to do is execute that step and get it done. Just going and leaning into hustle or random motion that's general or vague, it doesn't really get you anywhere. But if you can define and articulate and name the thing that you're going to do, and name out everything related to your targets, your sales, or whatever, the more likely it is it's going to happen, right? And I see that a lot where even with a prospect, when you're selling a prospect, and they give you some vague feedback, some general vague feedback, in order to close the deal, you also have to get them to name it out, right? And if they say, oh yeah, it's happening this week, we're having a meeting, we're talking about it, or we're looking at doing it this week, or have to get approval, that's all vague general stuff, right? So the more you can drill down for the prospect and get them to name the exact target, get them to name the exact things or the exact steps, the more likely it is to happen, right? So they say, okay, great, so who do you need to speak to? And what needs to happen here or there, and kind of get it defined where they need to speak to so-and-so. This is, they need to get this approved by the budget, by the CFO, or by whoever. The more you can clarify that and get them to say, whether they say, okay, well, here's the next steps I need to take, and I need to do this, the more likely it's going to happen, right? And if you're getting vague, sort of general stuff, the chances of it happening are slim to none. Maybe they'll happen. They're certainly not going to happen this week. Certainly not going to happen soon. It's going to probably take a lot longer than you think. And so you have to name out actions yourself to define and clarify, and then you have to get your prospect to sort of get it totally articulated and named. And if you can't arrive at that, then there's a problem in the sales cycle somewhere. It's some unspoken consideration or unspoken reservation, or something's going on in the cycle that needs to get handled. But it's critical. Look at it from the standpoint of, with any target, any sale, anything that you're doing in life, if you can't define it and clarify it and drill it down and name it out, it's going to probably take longer, or it's not going to happen at all, right? So something to think about. Get specific, right? Get specific. Make it, list it out exactly, so you can just say, yeah, here it is, and all you have to do is execute, right? If you can get there and it's not vague, it's not general, you got a good chance of pulling it off. All right, if you like it, hit like. Any comments, leave them below. Okay, thanks.